Hey guys, it's Birdie. I hope you're all doing well today and seeing the beauty in the world that so many see in you. Now, I am on a new microphone. I hope that it's going to work out better than the computer's microphone, but I guess we're going to find out here in a bit. Okay, so I watched Amber's new video that she had uploaded on Tuesday, July 14th. And yes, what she said was very important, but I think what she implied with her demeanor and facial expressions and didn't actually say was what was really fascinating. Let's go over it all, and I'm going to share my thoughts with you, but I also want to hear your ideas too.
Your girl's losing weight. Your girl's losing weight. Your girl's losing weight.
When the video started, just off the bat, Amber looked as though she felt uncomfortable and out of place. She fidgeted around, touched her hair and face a lot, elongated words, and spoke in a very non threatening tone. She was incredibly uncomfortable and nervous. And some may say, well, sure, she's been gone a long time, so she is nervous. And that's expected. I agree. But I think her obvious behaviors and speech was a direct result of her no longer being sure who her audience is. You see, back in the day, she knew she had around 90% who were going to be haters, or those of us who threw accountability at her. And Amber knew that around 10% were going to be her ham babies, genuines, or just undecided on whether they liked her or not. She knew what she was going up against on every live stream. So she had her bad attitude, unnecessary insults, and lies ready to go. She knew back then that her audience had absolutely no respect for her, no faith in her, and no tolerance left to offer her. She 100% created the community she got, and even beyond that, it took her years of displaying abusive behaviors and manipulative tactics to turn her audience so vehemently against her. This time, though, I got the feeling that Amber was being very precautious to not behave in a way that makes her look like the person that we have accused her of being. Because what if her TikTok people were watching? Amber had a narrative to push, and it started with her trying to gain a new following outside of YouTube. And I think she was worried about people tipping off her new followers to the lore that they did not know yet. She really didn't have many people viewing her on this new video, though, not when considering she has over 256,000 YouTube subscribers. Amber only had around 13,000 views in something over 16 hours. I think she was hoping that she could hold it together, show some vulnerability, come across as sweet, and try to act the character of who she wants the newbies to believe she is. Amber thinks that she can build a TikTok army that will defend her against her YouTube haters, pushing the haters out so she can start fresh like it's day one and all the evidence against her has been destroyed. I think the scheme on TikTok that I discussed in my last video yesterday is becoming more apparent, and Amber is going to try to rebrand by bringing her TikTok following onto YouTube because YouTube pays more. A lot more. And Amber may be thinking that her supporters on TikTok can even outnumber the YouTube haters, which would potentially, in Amber's mind, tilt the scales in her favor and give her the following of behind kissing wankers that she wants. This could get hilarious if it does in fact play out this way. But Amber's demeanor really was one of absolute caution, and I think it's because she wasn't sure what waters she was swimming in. I believe ultimately Amber thinks that she can still win this game. It's not going to work though. Something else that I noticed about Amber was her Valley Girl accent. I've kind of picked up over the years that Amber chooses different accents depending on her mood. The Valley Girl accent has historically been used by Amber when she's trying to be cutesy, dainty, popular. You know, the blonde haired, skinny girl walking the streets of California. That completely aligns with where I'm going with this, though. This is Amber's chance to rebuild, reframe, and restructure herself for the new followers. She can literally be anyone as long as no one is around that can get the new people to believe the truth of what she's trying to hide. She has not and will not willingly show them the real Amber, not anytime soon if she can help it. But that's the plot twist, and it's where the fun starts, because Amber always ends up crashing out. It is so ingrained into her being, Amber performs on cue at this point. I just hope I'm lurking around when it happens so I can see in real time the ham baby's reactions when Amber starts screaming and making fists at people during a live. And look, I'm not at all opposed to someone accidentally bringing up Amber's soft and gentle love that secretly recorded her to sell her out to reaction channels. Or, if someone happened to be in one of her lives and dropped a hint about how she abuses people, animals, talks down to her audience, and wished cancer on others. It was about midway through her video when someone asked her about Keem and if they were still friends.
You are not my friend.
And she said that they were on good terms, that she still watches Bus all the time, and she said that Bus was where she got to play a crazy character because Bus was meant to be a crazy show. Amber contradicts herself all the time, though, because today she says it was just a character she was playing. But at that time, initially, before so many people turned against her, in those moments when she was doing what she was doing on Bus, she was being very, very aggressive and saying that it was her show to be herself, to do what she wanted to do, that she was in charge, that it was a show intended to discuss the topics that she wanted to talk about, and to block people who did not follow her rules. And then she carried that persona over to the discords where she would stay 6, 7, 8 hours and gather information to allegedly dox people. And I cannot wait for the newbies to find out about that. I think another fascinating moment occurred when Amber was asked, "Why do you want to go to paradise?" This was a moment where I saw a lot of reflection and sadness and so much regret on her face. She said it's because that's a place where, basically, she could be considered pretty and have the ideal body type. Her insecurities about what she did to herself were on full display in that moment. She acts so conceited, smug, and superior most of the time, but she is so envious and resentful of people who live a quote unquote normal life, or just people who have normal sized bodies. She wants to be part of a world, or at least a temporary setting, where she is considered normal, just the standard. And that was her, in my opinion, expressing in a controlled manner that she hates her body. She hates her life. She hates herself, the outcomes of her choices, and admitting that she knows she is not considered beautiful or ideal outside of a certain fetish community. She also did clarify that she would probably never go because she lives in Oklahoma and Paradise, it's in Vegas. But she did not expand on the implied expectation that she would have relations with Stefan if she did decide to go, because she said that she had watched the docu-series about Paradise. And, if any of you did watch it, all of those women did say that there was kind of an expectation, that you would be having relations with Stefan. He fetishized those women and still does fetishize women of a certain body type. So Amber did not expand on what she planned on doing if she made it to Paradise one day, but she did say that she would be interested in going because she would like to know what it felt like to be the ideal standard of beauty, to feel beautiful in at least a moment for a temporary amount of time. And sometimes I do think that Amber becomes so blinded by the daydream of feeling normal or standard or pretty that she forgets that she kind of had that at one time. I mean, let's think about when she was in the 300s. I think she kind of looked normal. At least to me, she did, and at least in comparison to now. And she allegedly did not have a list of serious, diagnosed medical conditions at that time either, but she made the conscious choice to throw standard or normal away. It reminds me of someone who will take, say, $100 a night to go to the casino because they're chasing that $5,000 jackpot. But had they just stayed home, put that $100 a night in a jar, in a few weeks or months, they would have had that $5,000 they were chasing. I think Amber's a lot like that. She will destroy what she has, her actual health, just to chase a semblance of that later. She will lie to hide a truth that was always her choice. She could have always chosen the side of right and not had to lie or scheme or rebrand. She is, in my opinion, just a con artist, raised by con artists, and she will always choose the con over the work. Things should get interesting for the second part of this year. It's probably going to get sad too, but as viewers, we simply observe, we do not control. In a nutshell, though, I do believe that her going over to TikTok and doing these what I ate today videos, and look at me, the super morbidly obese woman just fighting to survive, just waging a war against all the demons that caused me to become this. I think it's all a scheme. It's all a plan. It's all an act. She suspects that she will be getting her monetization back on YouTube in early to mid August. And so I think she very much calculated when to start really trying to build that following on TikTok. And I believe that she very strategically then came back to YouTube July the 14th, hoping that some of her TikTok people would be there to watch. I believe she's trying to blend the two. She's trying to blend the TikTok new following with the YouTube channel. She wants to make the money off of YouTube from the following that she has garnered on TikTok by playing this character of an innocent, sweet, mid-30s woman. And it's just not going to work. The TikTok supporters are not going to be enough to silence the YouTubers who are fully aware of who Amber is and what she's done and how many victims she has left in her past. It's just not going to work. Amber thinks it will, but I guess she's gonna find out. If you're new, I'm Birdie, and I am honored that you took the time to watch this video. To all the names that I've come to recognize and know, your support is like the sunshine in my day, so thank you. If you need to reach me, just send me an email. I'll be around. Be safe, kind, loved, and loved with everything you've got in return. I'll see you right here next time. Bye for now.